as opposed to movies. And now movies I can't. Like, what about movies you can't watch? Like you started talking about like in home invasion movies. Those are a little rough sometimes. I mean, I grew up with I Spit on Your Grave and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The original one, but the remake was even more brutal. That's hard to watch. But like, it was the movie, not The Crazy, The Others.
Oh yeah, The Others.
I watched it once. I'm like, I can't, because it's almost like someone just filmed people doing stuff that people do to people.
Oh no, are you talking about The Strangers?
Strangers.
The Strangers.
Yeah. That's I mean, for as great as the original Strangers is, it just makes you like feel so cringy and like unnerving.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
The sequel is just it's just completely bonkers. Like they just took every like 80s like slasher cliche and they put it into this movie. It's so bad, but it's so funny.
Wow.
Wow. So it doesn't have anything of the same vibe as the first one?
It's the same killers, but like, I mean, it's just the most stereotypical slasher that you could imagine. But the fact that they tried to capture that 80s, like old school slasher aesthetic, it's just a completely different style of film.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like a Halloween show, right? Or around Halloween time?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Halloween movies we like, yeah?
Halloween movies?
Because no one's going to be talking about that. But I don't care what other people, I want to talk about what we want to talk about.
There you go.
I mean, it's not necessarily a Halloween movie, but I started, I do my 31 days of Halloween, right?
Ooh.
So every night I'll watch a new movie. And the first one that I chose to watch this year was Pumpkinhead.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
With Lance Henriksen. Yeah, good one.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing that I love about Pumpkinhead, I mean, obviously the best thing in the movie is just the practical effects.
And that's Stan Winston, right?
Yeah. Well, he directed the flick, but he had the same team that worked on Predator, Terminator, and Aliens, helping design the creature. And one of the things that I was surprised to learn was that the leg extensions that they use for the Pumpkinhead puppet, the Pumpkinhead suit, was originally the leg extensions that they wanted to use for the Predator monster, but they could never get it to work right. And they finally figured out a way to like get this harness so that they could use it for Pumpkinhead.
You got my head spinning all kinds of different ways. I'm going to forget half the stuff I want to say, but have you seen on the YouTube the original alien effects for Predator starring Jean-Claude Van Damme as
Yeah.
Holy
I have seen those. They're crazy.
I think that's a complete one. There's no in between. It's like that could have been it. That would have failed.
That would have been a bomb.
You almost got that though. But they are able to actually flip the whole thing the other way around and do it the right way.
That's cool.
Wow, we were that close to having Jean-Claude run around in a red suit with bug eyes or something. That was the weirdest. But that had the like bent legs, I think, in it or something, right?
Yeah, because Jean-Claude was, he's a short guy just in general. And that's why they wanted to have him on like these big, they're just basically like these like bent leg stilts. And it just balanced it out, but they could never get him to be able to like move or run. So the only footage that they have him in that original suit, he could only stand still. And you can't have that as your monster.
We were that close, man. That close, brother.
Yikes.
To get to the excellence that we did wind up getting. And Predator is another one of those movies that the commercial, you just saw everything Schwarzenegger came out on. You didn't care what he was in. So I went and saw it with a buddy of mine, and I think we kind of knew a little bit. We didn't know any, but that movie blew my mind because I didn't know it was going to be an alien. I thought it was going to be I don't know.
So you didn't even know what it was about, and you just saw it kind of cold turkey.
I think the commercials were real vague, and you didn't really know what was going on until you figured it out. But the technology of, cloaking and all that kind of stuff was kind of...
Or what would you call that? Like a blind, just random movie visit? Movie view?
You knew Schwarzenegger was going to be in it as action. You knew it was going to be an action movie. But
yeah.
I don't know that they really build it as a... I got to go back and look at the original sort of commercials for it and see what they showed.
Well, I love movies that market it that way. Like both Gremlins and From Dusk Till Dawn did the same thing. From Dusk Till Dawn, those original like sneak peak trailers. When they did that, it was just billed as like this like crime movie and about these two brothers on the run. And they didn't even mention the vampires until after the opening weekend with that second round of trailers.
Nice little slap in the, where am I? It's what they felt. They're like, what happened? How the hell did we go from robbing the store or bank
I
to
remember
being a vampire? You know?
borrowing that tape from a boyfriend in high school. This was forever ago. Oh, this is a cool vampire movie. You should see it. Well, I'm watching this tape and I'm like, where's the vampires? Because it's
Don't worry.
halfway through they show up. But, it was just funny because, it kind of throws you off at first.
Well,
and then surprise.
Yeah, Tarantino was pretty good with that rope-a-dope. I mean, Pulp Fiction, you didn't know. Why, Gimp, what's going on? It's like all over the place.
Yikes.
What's going to happen to us?
Oh my.
You just didn't even see that one coming, did you? But
that and Tarantino, Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, right? They cast that bar perfectly. They just had the best arrangement of just character actors. Fred Williamson, Savini, also had Cheech Marin, Danny Trejo, Salma Hayek, like all these great character actors, and they're just filling these like little bit vampire roles, and it just works so well.
I just couldn't figure out why Cheech Marin was selling cats on outside the bar. I still can't, but that might be my limitation.
I'll explain it to you later.
Okay, thank you.
And then Chi-Chi ended up playing like 3 roles in that movie. Wasn't he the cop, the bartender, and then he was like the mob boss, right?
Just shows up.
It was so good. Yeah, I mean, that movie is just so. I love that movie. It's just done so well. It's just so much fun.
But going back to Halloween movies.
Yes.
What's the one with the little is that Trick or Treat?
Trick or Treat.
The little
Trick or Treat with
Sam,
Sammy. Yeah.
Sam with the lollipop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's
great.
Way cool. And it has that classic Halloween feel with that little bit of gore and stuff.
It's Halloween vignettes, and it all gets tied together at the end, type of thing, like Creep Show.
That's the one thing I really miss from today's horror movie is you don't really see those anthology films anymore. Like I love those short little horror stories. Most of the time they're like those old EC comics. They have a little moral to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the perfect amount.
Yeah, Creep Show, and then which turned into the HBO series. What was it? That wasn't Creep Show. It was the one you like, HBO, the Crypt Keeper.
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt. Yeah.
Yeah, which that kind of stuff. But Creep Show 1 and 2 are just so good to watch. Anthology stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The newer movies about Cabin in the Woods. Are you a fan of that? A lot of people don't.
I love that one. There's a YouTube breakdown that just points out every reference in that movie. And it's like 17 minutes long because there's just so many of them.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'd seen it, and when I saw it, I sat there, and it's definitely one of the movies, very rare when you sit there, and when it's like, boom, when you get it, you're like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. This is brilliant. And then I hear it to you, you're like, oh, I know it's going to happen. He's going to go. I'm like, yes, but they're doing it for a reason.
I have to give another chance because when I first watched it with him a couple years ago, I guess I didn't get it right away.
The cliches are intended. It was the whole point of the movie.
I guess I didn't like it because of the cliches.
It's the whole point of the movie.
I know, but I'll have to give it another chance.
I mean, it's kind of like Scream in that way. Like Scream came along and it tried to deconstruct the horror movie. Cabin in the Woods deconstructs it just a little bit further, but it gives you that almost just tiptoeing up to the fourth wall breaking because they're obviously aware they're in a horror movie, and the fact that they just tie it all in with the Lovecraftian mythos, man, it's just a little cherry on top.
Yeah, the end of that of Cabin was almost kind of made me feel like Evil Deadish in a way. I don't know how to explain.
Oh yeah.
It just because it was like, oh my God, demon. I didn't see that. I did not know what was going on. And then when you figure out exactly what's been going on for hundreds of years, it's because of that. Just trying to save the world from a demon.
Yeah.
But yeah, Evil Dead. Oh my gosh, how do you top that?
I mean, that movie's like perfection. Evil Dead's awesome.
It's what you don't see is what's scary.
Yeah. It's a cult classic. I mean,
what's not to love?
Exactly. The second one I like a little bit better though.
The second one's probably my favorite of the series, just because of
They got what they were doing by then. It took a
Yeah.
had a life of its own by then, and then they go,
The second
okay.
one had some comedy.
He
parts
figured
in
out
it.
now how to do it. How to
Yeah.
really bring out this craziness. Amped it up.
Yeah, and Raimi just kind of like found his niche by that. He knew exactly what kind of aesthetic he wanted to do, and I love all the horror movies that he's done over the years. I mean, Drag Me to Hell had that.
Oh, one of my favorites.
And I'm really, really, really excited for that Doctor Strange movie he's gonna do, the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, Raimi, he's coming back and doing that.
He's
I
doing
didn't know
that
that.
one.
Yeah, they were in talks with him taking it over, and he was going to. From at least the last time I've read, they could have replaced him by now. Disney does that all the time, apparently.
Oh, please don't do that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, they wanted him to bring out the horror aspect to it, because one of the things that Marvel's trying to do is branch out into those other genres, and horror is one that they could definitely do. And if they did it, PG-13 wise, and did it right, they could definitely make it scary and fun.
They should. I mean,
They
look
should.
at those huge differences between and I know they're different studios, but still they still owned by Marvel, the characters. But you have such a difference between the Marvel universe, like the Avengers movies and Deadpool. It's like that, even though it's not the same studio. Am I right? I know Spider-Man just got bought. Sony and
No, Deadpool I thought was same one.
Because I know they have some.
But that one was obviously not like for kids,
Oh, that's not.
I think they may have made like a teenage version, like a kid version.
They did. There's that Christmas-looking one that they put out with the reindeer or something like that.
But no, I thought that was the same one, same studio.
Oh, let's see.
That was Marvel.
They would make fun of not being able to afford the other characters to be in the movie.
No, Spider-Man was Sony for
a while.
Is that still Sony?
For a long time. I mean, it's still technically Sony, but it's just a partnership.
Legal, yeah, because the money.
Yeah.
They could share because they weren't doing so well with their adaptations of some of that stuff.
No, those last two Spider-Man movies they put out were just god awful. I went to theaters with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I fell asleep during it. I woke up at the end like, oh shit.
Was that the Electro one? Or is that the one? Are you talking about the?
Yeah. The one with Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah.
I didn't even go see it.
The first one.
We saw Venom.
Oh, Venom. Yeah.
Venom. We turned off halfway through.
A lot of people
like to make it through Venom, man. And I love Tom Hardy. That Mad Max Fury Road was phenomenal. So I have high hopes for anything that he's in. But yeah Venom was just terrible.
That was a paycheck for that guy.
I just wasn't liking it.
Thank you. You might be the only person that.
But I never liked Venom that much anyway.
Me neither.
Honestly.
But if you're gonna do it.
But if you're gonna do it true to the
I liked early Venom. I liked when Venom was a monster eating people's brains. Like he ended up, getting too tame, and that's the version they went with. I was like, no, Venom's a villain for a reason. Like, let's show a little bit more brain eating, please.
It was so weird because when that character came out, I mean, Spider-Man never fought nothing like that. I mean, it was kind of weird. It was like so far. It was almost like when the Punisher appeared in Spider-Man comics.
It seemed like Venom didn't quite. To me, it felt like he didn't belong in the comics. Like he should belong in Spawn or something.
Well, that wasn't created yet. But,
yeah.
But
he just has that.
Spawn looks just like Spider-Man and Venom put together. I mean,
he just has Venom has that Spawn kind of look.
Well, McFarlane created him. That's why.
Is that what it was?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Duh.
He was doing Spider-Man back then.
Okay.
But
he was the one who came up with that spaghetti style webbing, because everyone else before that they just shot like the web, and it was just like some lines with a little bit of web drawings in it. Like he actually did the straight line and it like spiraled around. He really reinvented that character and how he could be drawn.
Well, and it's almost like even Steve Ditko, but even further out with the wacky,
Oh yeah.
All contorted.
Around,
yeah.
And they do some of that in some of the. You could tell in some of the newer movies that they kind of mimic some of those really exaggerated poses that McFarlane came up with and started doing with the character. But back to the horror movie. Sorry, I keep going.
Yeah, we keep going off to comic books and superheroes. More Halloween movies.
Well, one of my favorite ones is, and I'm sure that Jim knows this one, Dog Soldiers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Another one that's like, where did this come from? How come I didn't know about this movie?
I have not seen that.
I haven't.
Dude, one of my favorite werewolf
Yeah.
movies.
It is beyond. It's just like almost as good as the Howling to me. It's just like,
Oh, that good.
yeah, the Howling's great.
Yeah, Howling's up there. I think American Werewolf in London is always
Oh.
going to be like my favorite werewolf movie.
Say no more. That is by far. I don't care CGI, practical effects. That transformation, that Rick Baker stuff. It is just painful. You feel that guy's pain.
Yeah, dude, you cringe in your seat when you
Oh.
watch that.
The hair's flying out of his face and the bones just cracking, and it
And all
didn't look
the-
like fun.
Yeah. Ugh.
And the wolf looked really cool. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Same with the Howling Werewolf. I love the way that one was designed with just like the really tall ears.
Yeah.
And actually, that one was ripped off. You ever see the movie Waxwork? That's another good Halloween
yeah,
movie.
that's
I like.
I love
They-
that.
Yeah, they completely ripped off that Howling Werewolf when they made that little werewolf skit as well. So like, I don't know. There's just something about that silhouette of like the really tall ears. It just kind of resonates with you.
Yeah, but that movie too did a lot with atmosphere. I mean, that whole scene when Dee Wallace is in the cabin with Eddie, that is so creepy. And his face is all burned with the acid, and he still turns.
Yeah.
Oh my god, stuff's popping and bubbling. Oh my, ugh. It's great.
Snap, crackle, pop.
It's some good stuff. You can't. I mean, they try so hard now. That's a problem. I think they try too hard. They don't sit there and think of it like what would scare them. You know, they just think what's gonna look cool instead of what's scary. You know, they're scary.